Hello there, Marvin here. So I'm going to look at this UNEB paper and I'm looking at number 1 part B, that is senior 4, and it is Excel. So here was the question, and of course having typed it and then renaming it, they wanted us to rename it as your name and a personal number. So having typed everything, I'm going to start attempting the questions now. So here is the number. So if I open this, it's already typed, so you also require the typing in your computer as well, and it's right here. Okay, it's right here. So I've typed it normally, but if you look at this paper here, you see the heading employees hours worked in February. The heading is merged and it's also centered. So it's what you do in your Excel as well. So you type the work the way it is. So you're going to highlight with the white cross up to H. You do not have to do this. That is wrong. That's going to freeze your heading away from your work. So you have to highlight like this, then merge and center. Okay, that is done. So the work is also having this feature here of of wrapping in row 2. Row 2 has been wrapped because if you see the label total and wages, the words in brackets are not overflowing the cells, but they're being pushed to the next line down. So that is wrapping. So you highlight it as well, and then you wrap it. Wrap is here. Okay. So the two have been wrapped. Maybe I can increase size a little bit. Maybe something like this. I can leave it to that even here. Then comment was a normal one. Okay, then I start attempting questions. The questions are right here, and if you look at the heading and these, they're just in bold, so I simply make them bold. I'm typing my work the way it is. That's going to get you a score. It's having 6 marks. And then use suitable formulas or functions to determine part 2 and part 4. So actually part 2 to part 4. So you can either you can use either a formula or a function depending on what you want. So I'm going to use a function to calculate the total hours worked for each employee. So the total hours worked for each employee. So there is total hours here, and for example Sarah has worked for these hours in week 1, week 2, week 3 and week 4. So I want to just add them, equals sum, and then I get the range B3 to E3. Yes, then I close. I get the answer. So those are the total hours they have been working in February. February has 4 weeks, and each week is having hours worked for per individual. Okay, question next. The wage earned by each employee in February at an hourly rate of 3.5. So if I interpret this question, they're indicating that each hour is going to cost $3.5. Each hour worked is going to cost $3.5. So this was a confusion, but to make it easy, they just wanted us to multiply. The hours, then F3 times the 3.5. You don't necessarily need to put a dollar there. Just put a 3.5 and then multiply times F3. Press enter, then you scroll downwards. Some people are going an extra mile to put $1. If you want to put $1, it's okay, but I could leave it without a dollar sign. Okay. And the next question, a comment on each employee based on the total hours worked as follows. So we're going to comment on each employee based on the total hours they were, working. For example, if someone worked for less than 70 hours, they are lazy. And if someone worked for, 70 hours and above, they are hardworking. So if someone worked less than 70 hours, it means 69 to 0 hours, someone is lazy. 70 is not included because the statement is less than 70. It is not less or equal to, but it is less than 70. Anything less than 70 hours, the person is lazy. And as well, if someone worked for 70 hours and above, so 70 and above, the comment is hardworking. So we're going to comment here, and they wanted us to use the if function. So if the hours are in F3 here, if F3 is, I'll start with above, actually less. If F3 is less than 70, comma, what happens? Lazy, close quotes, comma. And the second one is if F3 is above or equal to 70, comma, it is now hard working. Okay, so that is the argument, and then I close with 2 brackets because I've opened brackets twice, or I've used 2 if functions. So the first person is having hard working, and they're having hard working because they're having 77 hours worked. I scroll to the last person. We're having 3 lazy people. This one has 47, this one 69, this one is 68. Okay, and it really works. Next, draw a bar graph showing hours worked in each week by all employees. Include a suitable chart title. 5 marks. Now that question had 5 marks for a reason. You draw a bar graph and give it all its features. A graph is supposed to have a title. A graph is supposed to have axes, y and x axis. A graph is supposed to have a legend. So I want to draw a graph, and I want to base on hours worked by each employee, and also I want to base on employees' names. So I'm going to go back to my Excel. I highlight the names, and then I hold Control. I highlight hours worked. You mind the way you're highlighting. If you get any funny graph, it means you have to highlight again. I said you highlight name, and then you hold Control, move your pointer to the legend, and highlight the column of total hours. Go to Insert and look for the graph they want us to draw. Let me go back to the question. They wanted us to draw a bar graph. Okay, go to Insert and look for a bar graph, an appropriate one. Preferably you look for 3D. Okay, here is the bar graph, and it's really making sense. It's having bars, and I'm not yet done because they said give it include a suitable chart title. So I can click at this, and then I remove the text. I type my own. For some computers, you may not have this they may not display the chart title, and it's looking like that. So you just go and activate the chart title. Go to you go to Design after clicking at your graph, and then go to Chart Elements, locate Chart Title. Chart Title is here, and then click at above Chart, and then you can type your title with an appropriate actually a chart a chart appropriate title. So I can type a bar graph displaying employees names and hours worked. Yes, I think that is an appropriate title. Then I can put the x-axis there. Click at the graph and then add chart element, axis titles, primary horizontal. You see, the x-axis is here. Delete it, delete the words there. First click within the words and delete. These are names. Put an appropriate label. Go back, add chart title, actually it's axis title, then primary vertical. Click at this, delete. These are hours worked for. Hours worked. Okay. And even I talked of a legend. Go back to chart title, locate a legend. Legend is here. You can put a legend on the right. A legend is here. And based on the total hours, that's a legend. Now this is a complete graph that's going to get you marks. So it should be looking like that. You can even add, some features for impression, but again, you mind your time. So you can add maybe looking for anyway, let me go with this. Next, save your work as your name and personal number and print all your work. So if you see, they didn't want me to shift this graph to any sheet, so I leave it here at sheet 1. It wasn't mentioned that I should shift it to any other sheet. So Excel, we're supposed to always give our work all borders. So highlight all your work and then go to borders, locate all borders. Don't forget that. It's really important because it displays wherever you're printing, it's going to print work that is really Excel work. If you don't put all borders, someone can even think that you designed a table in Word, yet it's Excel. So you put all borders for such a reason. So this is it, and I think it was one of the last questions. Save your work as your name and personal number. Print all your work. So if I want to print my work, I go to File. So this is now a printing mode in Excel, very important. I go to Print. Then I'm getting a preview here already. I'm having a preview here. So I want to go to Printer. Depending on the room you're in, you could put a printer name, or someone can direct you on how to print. They can tell you to select a certain printer. Mine is here, and no scaling is also an important feature when you're printing in Excel. Click at no scaling, then fit sheet on one page. So you always do that, and then you click at print. There you are, now printing. So I've got the clear copy. The last part of this, please don't print when this graph is this side. It may divide your work. So you have to push your graph underneath your work so that it can print all your work at once on one paper. So that was the Excel number for senior form UNEB 2023. A nice time. Keep on subscribing.